Hey everybody, welcome back to another movie review. Hope you guys been enjoying the content on the channel as of late. As you can tell, we are not in my usual setup, which would be in my vehicle. I'm actually at home just because I'm just finally getting a chance to settle down. It's just been a long, long day. Just my brother's birthday. We've been just out doing a lot of celebration for him. So turning 16, so big milestone for him, and hopefully he's having another as he's continuing the rest of his day. Hopefully he's having a wonderful, wonderful birthday. But in the midst of his birthday, he decided he wanted to go see a film in theaters, and the specific film he took interest in. So I decided to tag along and to see this, as I had no desire initially, but for his birthday, I will make the, I will compensate, or I will, just, you know what I mean. Yeah, if he wants to do it, fine, sure. So went to check out, as many of you haven't, Red One, which was directed by Jake Kasdan, who you guys are familiar with the modern Jumanji films, Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle, as well as The Next Level. Films of which that I am not that fond of. I don't hate them. I find them to be just fairly forgettable. This once again stars Dwayne Johnson as he is returning to work with Jake Kasdan, as well as Chris Evans and Lucy Liu and J.K. Simmons as Santa Claus. As the title suggests, vaguely so, that this is about Santa and Christmas itself, and basically a Secret Service agency led by Dwayne Johnson who keep the president, I mean Santa Claus, uh, protected. Unfortunately, one day he is kidnapped, and uh, through conveniences, Chris Evans's character, who is very good at finding things that people cannot find, which is again just an extreme plot convenience, but whatever. He is somewhat responsible for Santa's kidnapping, and Dwayne Johnson and his crew find him. They get him on board, and he's also fairly high on the naughty list. He's not a good person, as the film takes a bit of a pleasure in showing you in the first few minutes, as like how much of an asshole he is, and it's like, okay, what part of me is supposed to like him, and what part of him is redeemable, you know? But but they set this up with these two characters, Chris Evans and Dwayne Johnson, as they go on a quest to find Santa Claus and to figure out who is behind this kidnapping. To which ultimately, in essence, what the film is a very weird representation of a political conspiracy, because as the film is motivated, what it is motivated by is the blanket, um, the blueprint of that of a political conspiracy. That sort of narrative idea is what is taking shape in Red One. But the issue with Red One, now to state, the film has not done well. It's bombed, frankly, and reviews have not been great. Kind of echoing, a little bit of that of his about of Dwayne Johnson's film Baywatch, which was also not well received in a large volume sense, very not well received. And to state, I don't think that this film is as bad as that. I think that Baywatch is just, one of those kind of embarrassments that thankfully so is very forgotten. And this I feel will follow in the same spirit, where it will be forgotten, absolutely so. It will be forgotten. This is not in any respect going to be formed into a Christmas classic. This will be the thing that you see on television. It just kind of plays by, something for the kids or something just to watch if you're just bored or you're vacuuming. Just something along those lines. That's what this film is destined to be, and to be dumped on streaming, absolutely. Uh, as Amazon makes a very weird case as to why it needs to be on streaming. Not because it's failing, but because it will promote their service. There are large benefits to Red One, they swear, but don't see where. But discussing the film properly, though, I mean, the best way to describe it, I mean, in my overall experience with watching the film, is that it has a very, very huge case of imposter syndrome. because, as I've illustrated, it's a film that wears the blueprint of that of a political conspiracy, but it doesn't. But it embeds itself within the holiday spirit and with all these Christmas themed and characters and such. And what you get is a big clash between what is, there, and then this blanket, this coloring of this political conspiracy with Christmas theme, and it just doesn't work. And it does not make for anything that is, hand in hand or seems, beneficial. It just seems so alarmingly so, completely out of place. You know, if it was about the White House, like if J.K. Simmons was the president of the United States, if this was just all wrapped up in the literal and not just, you know, kind of in some ways mocking that story, that sort of narrative of a political conspiracy within the vein of a Christmas story, kind of mocking it in a way. Um, I think that then it would have been a lot more plausible, and I think that then I would have been able to digest that screenplay because it just it just feels nonsensical. I mean, the dialogue itself is also atrocious. There's just some really like ugh lines because it feels corporate. It feels artificial. It feels like okay, you can't cuss, you can't use that specific word, so just use another word in its place to illustrate the same point. Instead of saying the B word, just say which. Instead of saying the F word, just cut away from it like a cliche would. You know, stuff like that is embedded into the script. And like there came a point because the reason why I'm not saying it's terrible is because the initial feeling of the film is rather promising. I mean, the first 10 or 15 minutes is a Christmas film. And then when Santa gets kidnapped, it's literally a bait and switch. It goes from the Christmas film to, okay, now we're going to be the action schlock. Now we're going to be the political conspiracy. Now we're going to be all those things. And it completely abandons the Christmas thing. But the makeup, the what is there, it's Christmas. And it has to be there and it has to continue forward. And it's just strange for then the Christmas element to still be here. You know, there's no reason for this to be a Christmas movie. I mean, it absolutely should not be a Christmas film. This is a like Angel Has Fallen type deal, or something that Gerard Butler would work on. Like so it's something like that. It's not Christmas. It's just not. So, and even in essence, what is represented large of the time, it's not even Christmas stuff. It's in some respects a lot of Halloween or spooky things. Really not Christmas spirit. Not joyful, not charming, not kind of uh, uh, awe-inspiring sort of feelings. No, it's more like spooky, tense, and violent, because that's clearly all the qualities of a Christmas film. So I just think that it bears a large misunderstanding of what it's trying to do and what the narrative itself is largely speaking on. It's not to where it feels complimentary to a holiday spirit. It's something that feels like it should have been more in the literal. It feels like something that was initially pitched as a political conspiracy, a straightforward type thing with Dwayne Johnson at the helm of it. And then this Christmas element comes into play, and it just never ever finds a place to really feel warranted. It doesn't feel at all appreciate. Like, it doesn't feel like it's embedded well or feels accepted. It just feels like an element to code the film, not necessarily give it substance. It's just makeup. And it's just unnecessary makeup. We don't need that makeup. We don't need this to be in a holiday setting. It doesn't need to be there. And it's not funny. It's more, as I said, in how the film demonstrates it or utilizes its spirit. It's this you're almost in turn also mocking it itself too. Like you're like a lot of the humor per se, which really isn't humor. I mean, it's just because of how serious it takes itself. Also, because I understand the art of comedy is to like, and then that the more serious you are, the more funny something may be. This is not an example of that. This is an example of them looking at something and to take giving it their best, not in that they're just being funny and wacky and goofy and stuff like that, or, joyous and stuff like that, like, say, a Christmas setting would, you know, they're taking it seriously, and it just doesn't translate. It makes everything seem so parody. It seems so just just again, just disjointed and weird and not where it feels benefiting. Because I have a hard time even believing that it's a comedy. I think of it to really take itself seriously, and that's a big, big problem. Um, Especially when there already is a larger issue at play with this identity crisis going on, that never ever fails or never ever whimpers or leaves. It always is lingering throughout the entire time. So there are big issues with its lens, with how it frames this, with its writing. I think just from design, it is very, very questionable. And it never ever feels that it's solidified, and it feels like it's well embedded, well, mixed together. It just feels so disjointed and so just like, it like just the thing, like the setting just does not feel right. It does not feel appropriate for what is actually a political conspiracy. It's just using the Christmas spirit as a way to color it, to give it a different flavor, and that flavor is just yucky and really unwarranted. Better to taste something that you're already familiar with than to dip into something new and experiment. In this case, that sentiment holds true. So, yeah, not great, not good. I can't sit here and say it's terrible because because I there's a schlocky flavor to it that is rather appealing in that sadistic manner. Um, in that mockery, that mocking, that sense that you get. Because to be frank, I had a good time with it, but it was in the spirit of this is so dumb. I'm just going to have fun with it now and just mock it and make fun of it. But I understand in the essence of it, it is not good. But I ultimately admit that there is. I can't get to that place that I can't get to that real cynical place because of just my time with it. So, in the spirit of how I was quote unquote enjoying it. So, um, but in essence, not good. It's not good. It's got a lot of issues, and it never ever can escape those issues because it never knows really what it is. And that's the big problem. It just doesn't really know what it is and what it seeks out to do. And that stench, that's that flavor that it tries to create, that again, that yucky flavor, it just can never go away. It's just always there. And it makes for something just rather purposeless in overall design and overall just product by what it is. It's just very questionable within its existence in the form that it takes, in the form that it has taken. So those are my thoughts on Red One. Not good. Again, I had fun with it in a very mocking type of manner, but generally speaking, if I view it as for what it is, yeah, not great. So, but hey, you guys, what are your thoughts on Red One? If you guys have seen it, of course, a lot of you haven't seen it based on the box office results. But if you guys have seen it, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Your thoughts on any of Dwayne Johnson's most recent work, and your thoughts on also all the set stuff, like we talked about it, a lot of the behind the scenes, Dwayne Johnson peeing in bottles and doing weird things. Like, let me know your thoughts on that if you guys know the stories behind that in the comment section below. And that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. And until then, I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.